Oh my goodness, you guys. I have literally done about 10, 11, maybe even 12 takes on this video. And the reason why is the problem has been when I put this on the presentation mode, which is what you're supposed to do when you show a presentation, is very delayed. So I'll be talking about one thing, but it's on a total different slide. And the slide doesn't advance for a few minutes, and I'm already on to another subject. So it wouldn't make sense if I show it because it'd be all discombobulated. So I'm very frustrated, but I really want to get this message out. So um, hopefully it doesn't look a little strange to you guys because it's supposed to be one big presentation covering the whole screen, but it's not going to be that way because I think if I do it this way, the slides will advance the way they're supposed to. So I do apologize for the way it's showing, but I already created the slides and this video I think will make more sense with visuals, and that's why I wanted to do it this way. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't show it in the presentation mode, or I'll be doing it all night and it still won't work. So I do apologize. Before I begin the video, though, I just want to say to the people who have asked how I've been doing and why I have not done videos recently. I want to say I'm doing fine. I thank you guys for asking. That's very nice that you even care how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty good under the circumstances, like most targets. Under our circumstances, we're holding up, and the Lord is keeping us strong. So praise God for that. And I'm doing okay, and I really appreciate you guys asking. The reason why I have not done videos lately is because last year and the year before, I did quite a few videos, and I think I covered most of the topics that I had knowledge about. Most of the knowledge I had was personal knowledge due to my targeting. And so I think that I pretty much put everything out there that I really wanted to put out there. Um, Most people who do videos on a regular basis will tell you that you kind of have to be motivated to do videos, and you kind of have to have certain inspirations to do videos, and I have not felt that very much lately. And again, it's probably because I have spoken on most of the topics that I felt that I was qualified to speak on. There's a lot of aspects of targeting that I don't feel I have enough knowledge base. I may know a little bit about them, but not enough to do videos on. And that's things like directing energy and other aspects of targeting. So I don't really talk about those subjects too much because I don't know them in depth enough to speak on them. So I really think that I've covered most of what I wanted to cover. Um, Also, there are so many excellent videos on YouTube. There's just a wealth of information out there. So I think that everything that we really need to know about targeting is out there. And there are quite a few new people. They may not be new targets, I'm not sure, but I think there are quite a few that are new to YouTube, at least to my knowledge, that are putting some excellent information out there. So I just feel like, we have the whole gamut out there. There's just a wealth of information. Um, but if the inspiration and the motivation hits, I will do videos. I will do more videos. So again, thank you guys so much for even caring and asking. I really do appreciate it. This particular video really has been on my mind for a while, like 6 months actually, a long time. But I was kind of holding off on it because I wanted to make sure I present it in a way that makes sense, and I just kind of wanted to just wait on it for a little while, but I think I'm ready to put it out. And as I said, I've done so many takes on it today that I'm just kind of a little bit frustrated with it, but I hope that I can deliver this message in a way that it makes sense, because it's important for us to understand this. And once I understood it, it really um, helped me to move forward leaps and bounds with my targeting. It helped me to really overcome a lot of it. And so I'm hoping that it will help someone else, okay? And that is ways that our feedback plays into our targeting. Now, there are plenty of ways. There's not just one or two ways, but I'm just going to focus on these two, okay? One is your reaction to the targeting, and that would be verbal reactions and nonverbal reactions. Verbal reactions could be they send someone past you, and I'll just use the example of red and black because that's very common. So they send someone past you with red and black. They want to see. Is that going to make you mad? Is that going to make you cuss somebody out? Is that going to make you throw things and break things? Is that going to give you a panic attack? Is that going to put you in fight or flight mode? They need that. They need to hear verbally how that affects you. Okay? Then the nonverbal cues. They look for those also. They look for to see if that made you surprised, if it made you jump because it scared you, if you show any kind of facial expressions on your face. They want to see if you frown up. They want to see your non-verbal reactions as well. Okay, so your reactions are very, very important. Also, the one that I don't think we consider, that most of us consider, I know I didn't, is our perception. They want to see how we perceive things. What does it mean to us? When they do these tactics, when they send someone, I'll use that same example with the red and black, what does that mean to you? What kind of emotions does that stir up for you? What kind of memories does that bring up for you? They need to know. That is very important because in order for them to exert the desired level of control that they want to have over you, they have to effectively target you. If everything they do to you you're able to ignore and it means nothing to you, then it's a moot point for them. They're not effectively targeting you. They're not traumatizing you. They're not putting you in that mind control state that they want to put you in. So they have to deploy these tactics. They sit back and they wait to see how you're going to A, react to them, and B, how you're going to perceive them, what it means to you. Okay? So I'm going to show you some common organized stalking themes, just common things, but I have a point to this. So I know most of you have already seen all of this, all or some of it in your targeting if you get the organized stalking, and that is the police car. Police cars, they're forever present in mob targeting. The fire department, the ambulance, the FedEx, the UPS, and of course there's many more vehicles. You may see erratic driving, you may see different types of license plates, you may see no license plates at all. There's all kind of things they do on the road. Okay, so the vehicle stalking. Also, the telephone harassment. There's a lot of things they do with the telephone. I know that early on in my targeting, every time I came home, the telephone would ring. Every time I walked in the door, the phone would ring. Also, I would get a lot of prank calls. I would get a lot of hang-ups. I would get people would call and I would answer, and there'd be a loud recorded voice speaking in another language. A lot of solicitation calls. You may get people threatening you, saying, "I'm watching you." Um, they do a lot around the telephone harassment. Okay. Clothing with messages. This particular one is Superman. There's also Superwoman. directed conversation. You may have people just trying to conversate with you. Maybe they're trying to put a particular message out there that they want you to hear. Maybe they are saying something that they shouldn't know, that should only be familiar to you and people close to you, that they should have no knowledge of whatsoever. But they know these things and they want you to know that they know. So they engage you in these conversations, okay? And also, she's wearing red and black, which is one of their favorite color combinations. But you shouldn't be alarmed with this because black is a staple color in most people's wardrobe, and so is red. So just because a person is wearing red and black does not mean they're in on your targeting, okay? They want you to think that, but not necessarily so. Okay, back to the vehicle stalking, the mail truck. They're very involved in my targeting and have been from the beginning. Also, this gentleman has on a team shirt. That's a very common targeting tactic as well, to wear the team shirts, the team hats, and other team items. But it doesn't mean because someone has on a team shirt that they are targeting you. Also, the dog walker, very, very common. The monitoring, people watching you while you're in the store, people watching you while you're in your house, people sitting in their cars watching you. The monitoring is very common. Another shirt with a message on it. This one says karma, and if you look at that closely, that what should be an A is a pyramid with the all-seeing eye. Okay, and then you have your picture takers. Random people may take pictures of you. That happens a lot early in the targeting when they go live and they want you to be aware. They want you to know that something is out of order and that this is a personal attack on you. The picture takers are real busy in the beginning. They may continue throughout the targeting, but they're really busy in the beginning. The staring. Some people may deal with the staring or the glaring or the mean mugging. The way this gentleman is mean mugging this guy. He may not even know him, but that's very common. Okay, and the reason I wanted to show the common targeting tactics is just to let you know that these things are common. So if you get these things, you may think that they're unique to you, because I thought that certain things that they would do, like they were only doing this to me. It's really important to know that these tactics, there are basic tactics that are universal, that are happening to targets all over the world. It's not just happening to you. Okay, and that's really important to know. Okay, so another thing besides them needing to know to see your reaction, they very much need to hear your perception of what these targets mean to you. So yes, they want to see how you react. Do you show fear? Do you show anger? Do you show surprise? Do you show disgust? They very much need to see your reaction. But they also need to know how you feel about it, what it means to you, what's your perception. Okay, so if you look at this cup here, is that cup half full or is it half empty? Our perception is our reality. No matter how we perceive something, if I see that cup as half empty, then it is very much half empty to me. If you see it as half full, then it is very much half full to you. And there's nothing anybody could tell you. To you, it is half full. That's your perception of it. To me, it is half empty. That is my perception of it. And there's really not much people can do to change our perceptions. We have to change them ourselves, because our perceptions come in part, they come from our past experiences, our past life experiences, the things that we've been through with this targeting and even before the targeting. That's how we form our opinions of things and our perceptions. Okay, so how do you interpret these organized stalking tactics? These are some more very common themes that many targets see throughout their targeting. This shirt says obey. I've heard people say that they have voice to skull and the voices say obey. Okay, so what I'm saying here today also applies to people who get the electronic harassment, the voices, and things like that. They also want to see how you perceive those things. The messages that they're putting in your head, the things they're saying to you, they want to hear you talk about that to see how you felt about that, what it meant to you. Okay, so this obey, one person may see this and it may remind them of an abusive relationship where the person was very controlling and wanted them to obey everything they said. Or to another person, this very same tactic could mean New World Order. This U-Haul truck, very common. This could mean to one person that they're sending you the message to get out of town. Or it could mean to another person that this means that you're going to be homeless. The police harassment could mean to one person you're going to jail. To another person, it could be mean that they are sending you the message that you're a criminal. Okay, the trash. This is a very common tactic as well. They do a lot around the trash. You will see people sweeping. You will see people mopping. Um, Janitors are heavily involved in my targeting. People constantly taking out the trash. People always around the trash bin. Okay, if you think that this means that you're dirty or they're calling you trash, they would love to hear that because then they will take that. What they do with these tactics is once you give your perception of it, they take it and they morph it into something else. So if you take this to mean that they're sending you the message that you're a trashy person, then not only will they continue with the trash can theme with you, but then all of a sudden they'll do things like you'll hear people talking about trash all the time or using that word, or you'll walk past people and they're calling you trash, and all of a sudden your self-esteem is affected, and now you're feeling bad about yourself, or you're feeling defensive all the time. So they take whatever we give them, the information that we feed to them, based on our perception, and they morph it into something else. So now they have the tactic that they started with, but they also have more tactics based on what we said it meant to us. So they say, aha, that's what that meant to that person. And so now we'll not only do this, but we'll do this as well. Okay? So then you have your lovebirds over here. Very common. Very common. They want to see what that means to you. Does that mean to you that you'll never be in a relationship? Or does that remind you of when your spouse left you? Okay. The single father. Very, very common. This one is very common. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, they want to know what that means to you. Does that remind you of the fact that you didn't have a father in your life? Or does that send a message to you that your kids don't have a father? Or maybe you could put a positive spin on that. Maybe one person would think that that tactic means, oh, that's a really good father. He's spending time with his child. So it depends on how you interpret it. And they very much need that information because without it, they cannot effectively target you. If everything they do to you is just going over your head, then it's not working. And that's the place we actually need to be in, where it's not working. So your perception is what that tactic meant to you. Each tactic may mean something different to each person. The information that they gain is extremely important to effectively targeting you. So the story that you come up with becomes their protocol. Okay, and they're going to put their protocol and make it a plan of action for you because everything they do is a script. So when you give that information, when you go on the talk show calls or on the telephone with your friends or on the YouTube videos or even in the comment section of the videos, and you say they did this to me because, when you put that because in there and you start to give the reason why you feel they did that particular tactic, that's what they need. And they say, aha, that's what it meant to her. And I realized this because I was watching a video, because I watch a lot of the TI videos like most targets do. And I was watching a video, and the person was really upset, and the person was showing pictures of a targeting tactic that they had done to them. And the person was extremely upset about it, and was showing these pictures and explaining, this is what they did to me and this is why they did it, and I know why they did it, and they did it because of this and they did it because of that. And the person went into great detail on why the perpetrators did what they did. And as I was watching it, I was really surprised because I had seen that exact same tactic throughout my targeting for quite a while. And I had a whole story that tactic used to affect me just like it affected that person. It used to make me really upset, like that person was really upset that day. I used to get really upset about that exact same tactic. Now, it was different people that were doing it to me, but it was the same tactic. So when I watched that video, I was like, oh my goodness, that's the exact same thing they do to me, like to the T, the exact same thing. But I had this whole story worked up in my mind about why they were doing this tactic. And I was really targeting myself because I was traumatizing myself with all the reasons why I thought that they were doing this tactic to me. So when this person said why they were doing that tactic to them, it was a total different reason that I had on why I thought they were doing it to me. And that's what made me realize. That's when the light bulb went on. They need our perception of these tactics. They need our feedback as to why we feel they're doing it, as to what that tactic means to us. So here we have two people, myself and this other person, with the same tactic. We both are really upset about this tactic. We both read so much into that tactic. We both took it very personal, and we both came up with our own stories. So if we were to go around the whole world and speak to everyone who has seen this tactic and ask them what it meant to them, I can bet that everyone would have a whole different story of what that same tactic meant to them. So it made me realize we have to stop doing that. That's what they want us to do. They want us to verbalize what it meant. So yes, they need our reactions. Yes, they want to see, is it going to make us cry? Is it going to make us sad? Is it going to make us mad? But they also need to hear what it means to us. Yes, they have supercomputers that can decode our thoughts and all of that. But obviously, they're not using that all the time because they really need our perception. Okay? So that's what I really want people to get. They really need your perception. So when we fill in the why they're doing it, that's, I think, where we get into a little trouble. Okay, that's where I was getting into trouble. I was very guilty of that, and I'm really working on it now. Really working on not helping them at all. So the ultimate why they're doing it is because we're targeted. Plain and simple. We're targeted. We're in a torture program. They're going to target us. They're going to deploy these tactics on the people who get the organized stalking. Some people say they don't get it, and that's beautiful. But the ones who do, they're going to deploy the tactics, the stalking tactics. The ones who don't, they're probably going to do the directed energy. I personally think we all get everything, just to different degrees based on what we're reacting to. Um, but it's the same with the directed energy. I know people who have some really, really, really large stories about why they think they're getting a directed energy. It may or it may not be true. I have my reasons why I think they do certain things to me, And some of it may be correct, but some of it may not be. But the thing is, I'll never be able to confirm it anyway. So what's the point? The reason they're doing it is because we're targeted. They want to traumatize us, they want to trigger us, they want to isolate us, they want to cause paranoia, they want to cause psychotic episodes, they want to get us to commit suicide, they want to control us. That's the high level of why. So let's just stick with that. Instead of getting into the fine details, they're doing this because back in the 60s when I did this or I said that, or you know, we don't need to go there, because when we do that, we're just helping them. Okay? So here's what you can do. You can remind yourself that most of the tactics are standard to most targets. They're standard. They're using them all over the world. Not just in your city, they're using them all over. And everyone interprets the same tactic differently. If they do something to me, I'm going to think it means this. They do the same thing to you, you're going to think it means that. Just as the example I gave about the person with that video. That helped me so much. That helped me so much to realize that, oh my goodness, I'm torturing myself. And that's not even what it means. Because this person is saying it means something totally different. Okay? So reserve judgment. Don't read too much into it. Don't give them that. If you have to rehearse it and go over it in your mind, try your best to put a positive spin on it if you can. You know, maybe you can't. If you can ignore it, that's going to be the best thing. If you can't, try to associate it with something more positive. I can't remember if I said this already, so I'm going to say it again because, like I said, I've done so many videos, so maybe I said this already. But let's take the father, for example. Maybe you can relate that to your childhood, and you had a great childhood with your father. Maybe you can, when you see the single father, you can think about the great times you and your dad had. Okay? Or if you know someone that's a good father, think about that person. Or if they're doing the single mother with you, maybe you know a great mother. Think about that person if you can. Okay? So, does it mean that we can't talk about it because they want to know our perception? Absolutely not. It does not mean that. I am 1000% committed to exposing this crime. And the only way we can do that I can see, is to talk about it. So, it doesn't mean not to talk about it. We have to expose this. So, we have to talk about it. It just means, in my mind, that we should probably change the way we talk about it. We should stick to the facts. I went to the store, and when I got there, I was targeted. And this is what happened. They followed me around the store. They said this, they did that. Those are the facts. That's what happened. Is when we get into, I went to the store, and when I got there, they targeted me. And I know why they targeted me. They targeted me because that's where we run into the problem, because they're waiting. Believe me, they're waiting. They deploy the tactics and then they wait. They sit and they wait. Let's see how she reacts to it. Let's see what she tells her friends about it. Let's see when she gets on these talk show calls, what she tells people why this happened. And again, I'm so guilty of it. You can listen back to some of my videos and I go into, I know why they did this, and for some of it I do believe I know why. And it might be true, but I'm not giving them that anymore. I'm going to try not to give them that anymore. Okay? So it's when we get into the why. So just stick to the facts. So again, it doesn't mean you can't talk about it, because you should, because that's the only way we're going to get this exposed. But talk about it in a way where we're bringing awareness to this crime. When we're talking to people, we're bringing awareness. Okay? So that's facts. We're gonna talk about the facts. This is what targets go through. This is what I go through as a target. Okay? We're gonna bring it forward. We're gonna bring the information forth that way. And to expose, and to help other targets. If we're trying to help other targets, then we need to talk about it. But we also need to process. There are times where I just want to talk about what happened, because for me, it helps me to talk about it. It's my therapeutic way of taking care of me to talk about it at times. Okay. And I usually reserve that for my calls on Sundays. But yeah, we should talk about it. So if we need to process, yeah, talk about it, but just stick to the facts. Just keep the why, because they're listening for that. Okay, so once you start saying going into why, they're gonna keep doing what they did to you, but then they're gonna add whatever you added. They're gonna add that, and now you have a whole new protocol set for yourself. Okay. Um. So the bottom line is this: don't help them target you. Make them work for it. Make them use whatever they need to use, my reading equipment, whatever they say they have. Let them use that. Don't give them any information. Okay. So if you have a negative perception about this stuff, it could lead to depression. It could lead to low self-esteem. It could lead to isolation. It could lead to you being very afraid and fearful. It could lead to pessimism, and it could lead to aggression, which we have seen with targets in the past, and we don't ever want to see again, because innocent people die. The targets have really just kind of went over the edge, because this stuff can be very overwhelming for any of us, because we're humans trying to fight against technology, trying to fight against all these people who are coming after us. So it can be way too much. Okay. So people do fall into the aggression, and that's not what we want to do. So we have to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually every single day, whether you're having a good day or not. Take care of yourself in those three ways, okay? I hope that this video makes sense to someone. I get it. It really helped me to move forward so much when I realized that myself and that other person were getting the exact same tactic, which I know that they're standard tactics. I already knew that. But I did not realize the perception piece of it until I heard that video, and I realized, wow, that person has a whole nother understanding about what that meant. And I have a whole different understanding. And I'm sitting here torturing myself every time they deploy that tactic on me. I'm really beating myself up about it and going into these panic attacks and all of this, when that's not even their intention. That wasn't even what they meant when they did that. This was just a basic tactic. And so I hope that you guys get it. I hope that that helps someone. God bless and stay strong.